Hi, my name is Jared, and you're watching Life in Plastic, a channel that celebrates doll collecting. In this video, we are going to unbox and take a close look at another Ken doll. This time, we're looking at the BMR 1959 Ken from the second wave of the series, which was released in June of 2020. So stick around. So let's get into it. Here is the Ken doll in his box. It makes me think of a sneaker box, which is really cool, right? I mean, look at it. It's very interesting. It's very different from anything that Barbie has done prior to this collection, the BMR 1959 collection. It certainly stands out in terms of the packaging that they've chosen to use. And the great thing about this is it is made entirely out of recycled materials. So that's another cool thing that they're doing, is they're being more environmentally friendly. So on the front cover of the box, we see an illustration of the doll. This was designed by Carlyle Nuera. So we have Carlyle's signature over here on the corner. It's a very nicely done illustration. It is not colored, which is very interesting. It's an interesting choice. And on the side of the box, there's a little blurb. It says, the BMR 1959 collection celebrates the fashion heritage of Barbie and showcases how current trends influence the brand. These bold, fully poseable dolls capture the diverse looks found in today's streetwear culture. From high-low fashion mixes, reimagined 90s gear, to juxtaposed patterns, textures, and silhouettes, this curated ensemble is all about personal expression and style. All right, very cool. From the box, we can also tell that this doll was made in Indonesia. I love this packaging. I think it looks very different from anything we've seen from Barbie, which is cool. And I love that it's recyclable. Are you ready to see what's inside this box? I am. So let's take a look. 1, 2, and 3. There's some nice BMR 1959 tissue. All right, so let's pull the tissue aside and take a look at the doll itself. And wow, okay, there he is. Wow, he is, let me just put him over to this side. Well, here is the very handsome doll that is inside. It is a new face sculpt called Tate. Tate is Carlyle's middle name. So given that he designed the doll, they honored him by naming the sculpt after him, sort of, in a way. So yeah, that's really cool. Tate, new face sculpt, and he's very handsome. As you can see, the sculpt has dimples, which I like. Okay, so as you can see, he's got this red hair, which is styled in a kind of undercut. It's long, it's rooted and long in the top part, but along the sides, it's just painted onto the doll's head. So I don't know, it's an interesting look. And if we take a very close look at his face, he has got some freckles. Another interesting feature of this doll. All right. So I can see just by looking at this doll right now that there is a little bit of pixelation, but it's not bad. It doesn't bother me. So another cool thing about Tate is that he is wearing earrings. That's not something that we see often in Ken dolls. So as far as the fashions and accessories go, we can see that he has a black and white color blocked hoodie with the BMR 1959 logo prominently featured on the hoodie. He's also got these yellow track pants with some logo tape, and there are slits along the sides of the track pants, which is an interesting look. I remember being in high school and having those track pants that have the buttons that run along the side, and I used to always unbutton them. I don't know, that was a look. That was a look. So that was in the 90s, which is kind of what this line brings us back to. So he's got these white trainers, which are kind of unusual. We're gonna take a closer look at them later, but there is something a little bit unusual about the white trainers. He's also got this hip bag or belt bag or fanny pack, whatever you wanna call it, with the rainbow BMR 1959 logo graphic. And taped to the side of the box, there is this visor, which is translucent blue with some white trim. And it's also got the BMR 1959 logo. So this whole line is all about the BMR 1959 fashion brand, right? It's about streetwear, and you know, the concept is that there is this brand called BMR 1959 that is a fashion brand, and the dolls in this line are sort of modeling all of these fashions from BMR 1959, which is a really cool and interesting concept. All right, so now that we've had our first glimpse of Tate, let's get him out of this box. By the way, before we remove him from the box, I just want to point out this backing sleeve that is purple, which is a very nice contrast to the yellow track pants. It really makes the color pop. So that was a nice idea on the part of whoever designed the packaging for these dolls, is that the backing always is a contrasting color to the colors in the fashions themselves. So the colors really pop. All right, so on the back of the cardboard sleeve, you have the certificate of authenticity taped to it. So here is the certificate of authenticity. It tells us that the doll is a black label doll. All right. So it's definitely a doll for adult collectors. Okay, so the first thing that I took out of the box is this visor. It is super cute. Like I said, it's translucent blue with some white trim and the BMR 1959 logo. So very cool. This just really takes me back. The visors on Barbie go back a long time. Okay, so here is the doll stand that comes with the doll. It's got the BMR 1959 logo base, and it's got a post and a waist clip, okay? And the base itself is hollow, as you can see. But it looks very nice. It's very unique. It's unique to this collection. That just adds a little something, you know? All right, and here is the doll itself. He is a very handsome guy. Very interesting hairstyle. As I pointed out earlier, it's rooted on top and then it's just painted on the sides. So it looks like an undercut. And he's got these beautiful bluish gray eyes and all these freckles and the dimples. It's a very handsome sculpt, new sculpt that we call Tate, as I said earlier. And I love that he's wearing earrings. Okay, very cool, very interesting outfit. I think my favorite part are the slits on the logo tape track pants. You can see they go pretty high. They're like thigh-high slits. And then these white trainers are very interesting. As you can see, they're kind of like in between a sneaker and a sandal, because they have these openings in the back. Very different. I can't say that I've worn this type of footwear. It's very interesting and cool. Okay, and then as you can see, the belt bag has a very long strap that is very, very adjustable. So he can wear it many different ways. Okay, cool. And of course, this doll is on the Made to Move body, which is very, very poseable. In fact, why don't we take his clothes off so we can examine the articulation. So as I'm taking the clothes off of this doll, I'm noticing a few details about the clothing, specifically the hoodie and the track pants. They do not have any sort of Velcro closure. That's interesting because that means these fashions are meant to be taken on and off just by sliding them off of the doll. So that should be fairly easy given that the hoodie is kind of oversized, right? So let's do that. Let's take the hoodie off this way. And it slides off just like that. All right, very nice. And it's very well made. It's so cute. It even has a BMR 1959 tag in the hoodie. So, you know, this really feels like it's an actual fashion brand, which is really cool and interesting. Okay, let's take these track pants off. So they just slide off. Just like so. All right. Do they have a tag? No, but they have the logo tape, so that's enough. So these are the pants. Again, they're nicely made. So now that we have the hoodie and the track pants off of this doll, we can see his articulation. He's got at least 18 points of articulation that I can count. So he can move his head around just like so. He can move his torso backwards and forwards. Okay, the torso has a point of articulation. He can pivot his upper arm. Okay. He can of course move the arm itself at the shoulder. He has got double jointed elbows, so that means he can do some very interesting poses like touching his face, things like that. He's articulated at the wrist, of course, and he has got articulation at the hips, so he can move his legs forwards and backwards. And at the upper thigh, he can pivot the leg. And at the knee, also double jointed, so he can really bend his knee quite far. And he's got articulation at the ankle. Okay? So those are the doll's points of articulation. I am quite happy with it. I love photographing my dolls and putting them in different poses. So this is a plus for me. I know there are people who find the joints unsightly, but to me it's a positive thing because the dolls are more poseable and therefore they're more fun for me to photograph anyway. So if we look at the back of Tate's head, we can see that there is a copyright stamp, and this sculpt was designed in 2019. Okay, it says copyright 2019 Mattel. All right, and we know this doll came out in 2020, so that makes sense that the sculpt was copyrighted in 2019. Very beautifully made. I love this doll. All right, so I put him back in his fashion, and as you can see, the other thing that's great about this is the hood can actually go over his head. So that's very nice. I love that it fits very well. All right, let's put the visor on him and see how that looks. You know what? The visor kind of messes up his hair a little bit, so I'm not gonna put it on him. I think it's just gonna be one of those things that maybe can go on one of the other BMR 1959 dolls. I've seen photographs of him with the visor on and it looks pretty good. I just don't know how to make it work. Yeah, so you know, this is Tate with the visor. As you can see, it kind of messes up his hairdo. I don't know how to put it on without messing up the hair. So I'm gonna leave it off. And just like that, it is time for me to give you my final thoughts on this doll. So what do I think of BMR 1959 Tate? Well, first of all, I love this new face sculpt. Okay, I love the dimples and just his features are so handsome. I think this is one of the most handsome Ken face sculpts that they've ever created. And I love that they gave him freckles. Okay, that's a very interesting touch. The hair to me is a little bit weird. It's different. Maybe, in my opinion, not the best example of rooted hair on Ken. But I guess it kind of works on him. I don't know. I've seen some very good restyles of the hair. So I guess that's why I'm kind of not super impressed with the way this was executed, but it looks okay. The fashions I think were made very well. So the best thing about the fashions for me are these track pants with the slits. It's a very interesting look, and certainly one that I've worn as a teenager. So I kind of identify with this doll in a way. Yeah, I think it's really cool. I'm not a fan of belt bags or hip bags or whatever you want to call them, fanny packs, but it's an interesting accessory. The shoes are different and interesting too. So I don't know, overall it's a really nice doll. The other thing that I like about it, of course, is that it's on a made-to-move body. So I love the poseability. It's gonna be fun to photograph this doll. So overall, I'm very pleased to add this doll to my collection. So what about you guys? What do you think of BMR 1959 Tate? Is he a doll that you would want to add to your collection? I mean, he's been out for quite some time, so I imagine that a few of you already have added this doll to your collection. So let me know what you guys think of him, okay? Alrighty, it is time for question of the week. And I'm gonna read this week's question from my notebook, which by the way is the notebook that I use to write down all the outlines for my videos. So this is the Life in Plastic notebook. So all my video ideas go on this notebook. So anyway, I'm gonna read this week's question from the notebook, and the question is from my friend, Pamela Militello. So Pamela says, I didn't know that this was a thing, but apparently travel dolls are popular among many collectors, especially for conventions and events. I'm intrigued and now currently looking for my own travel doll. Do you have one? Okay, so her question is, do I have a travel doll? So I did buy a second Proudly Pink doll. Here is one of them on display in my cabinets. I did buy a second Proudly Pink doll to be my travel doll, but I haven't been able to travel, so I haven't really executed that idea. But I have set aside some fashions that kind of look great on her, so that, you know, when I do travel, I can take her with me and put her in some outfits and photograph her in different places. So the other thing that's popular with collectors is to have a mini-me or a mini version of themselves. And I did want to have a mini-me, so I asked Instagram what doll they thought might be a good fit for me. And I got some suggestions, and one of them was this fashionista Ken. I forget what number he was, but yeah, he has dark hair, and I don't know, I guess he kind of has some of my features. The eyebrows could be higher, but I don't know, it's close enough, right? So this guy is going to be my mini-me. I just need to find a good made-to-move body to match this skin tone. I haven't been able to find a good match for this skin tone. You know, as you can see, Tate is kind of on the pink side. He's got pink undertones to his skin, so it's not a good match. And the wheelchair Ken is more of a tan complexion, so that doesn't work either. So I'm still on the lookout for a good skin tone match for this doll, so that he could be on a made-to-move body and he could be a great poseable mini version of myself that I can take places. And so he is going to be my second travel doll. So what do you guys think? Is this doll a good mini-me? Is this a good representation of me? Let me know in the comments below. And also, thank you, Pamela, for the question. If you guys want to be featured in the question of the week segment, all you have to do is ask your question in the comment section of my videos. So if this video or any video really, as long as you use the hashtag #AskLifeInPlastic, that will let me know that you want your question to be featured in an upcoming video. If you just ask a question without using the hashtag #AskLifeInPlastic, then that kind of lets me know that maybe you just want the question answered right in the comment section and not necessarily be featured in an upcoming video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give me a like, and if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.